Olivia Ekponé with us here. And, Will, I'm guessing, what do you think the odds are that Olivia had more success last time, a couple weeks ago at the SEC Championships, than we've had in our entire athletic careers combined?
That's not hard to decipher. When she showed up, she had more success than either of us in our athletic
When
career.
she rolled in, Olivia, congrats on the time. But first, let's talk about the SECs first. Congratulations on the run there. Just talk about your team, how proud you guys were of your effort, and then just you individually to take home all the titles.
Well, it was actually a really exciting meet. I was looking forward to it. Our team was fired up, both men and women. On the women's side, we were really looking for that SEC championship, but unfortunately we had a mishap with one of our athletes. But besides that, we all came together. We all were like, we still want to score. We still want to make our coaches proud, and we did very well. I placed first in the 100. I PR'd with an 11:11, and in the 200, I set the SEC meet record with a 22:23. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I kind of shocked myself running that time. And then I ran the anchor leg of the 4x4, and I split a 49.9, which I was not expecting to do that either. Overall, it was just a really great meet.
And we'll take 26 athletes to the NCAA championships in Eugene. And we were talking earlier, I think you're the only one that will compete in 4 events. You're in the 100, 200, and then both relays, the 4x1 and the 4x4. That's a healthy load in a high-stakes meet.
It really is.
How do you prepare from now until the kickoff of this meet on Wednesday? And is most of that preparation mentally getting ready for those 4 events?
Well, there's a lot of aspects to running all 4 events. I didn't think I was going to be able to do all of it. But looking at how I ran this season, I feel like I'm a lot stronger than what I was last year in my freshman year. And mentally, I'm just like, it's basically another Penn Relays for me. Mm-hmm. Penn Relays, I had 3-4 events I had to run. I had the 4x1, the 4x2, 4x4, and the open 100, but everything was just staggered out throughout the week. So I'm like, I basically have maybe 1-2 races each day that I'm there, and on the last day, it's going to be how it was at conference. I basically had an hour between the 100 and the 200, and then I had an hour and a half in between the 4x4, so it's basically set up the same way. So that's what I just keep telling myself. You basically have done this before, just do it again.
Mm-hmm. When I'm watching this meet on the final day, I asked Coach Henry about this earlier. I'll kind of do the math. I'll sit there and say the Aggies need to do this, and let's hope this team does this and this, because it's a point system. It all adds up. But Coach Henry asks you guys as athletes, he doesn't want any scoreboard watching.
Exactly.
This is about what the Aggies do on that day, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And the thing is, we usually score a lot of points in the sprinting events, and usually sprinting events happen later in the week. So when you're looking at the points, like if I was to look at it on Thursday, we probably wouldn't even be ranked. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because my mom would be calling like, why are you guys on the scoreboard? I'm
wrong?
Just like, Mom, just relax. And it's just like we rack up so many points because we have so much depth in the sprints. So we really don't even focus on the actual scoreboard until the meet's completely over.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing we've learned over the years, especially since Coach Henry got here and the program really took off, is you got to, from a fan's perspective, you ignore the team scores. I ignore them till the last day. Mm-hmm. You look at the SEC championships, you guys and the men weren't really anywhere near the tie, middle of the pack-ish going into that last day, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, she won a race, up another race, up, and then the team comes out of nowhere. So as a team, you guys, like you said, you probably don't even worry about the scoreboard. You just, all right, we got to go run this race. Let's go win it.
Yeah, and it's funny, like after the 100, I think we scored over 20 points from just one event because we just had 4 or 5 girls in there. So we just all have to make sure we do our part and execute our races like we're supposed to.
And really, points are scarce in this meet, and Coach Henry talked to us about how the women's side, it's 12 athletes going, and you're competing in 9 events. And Coach Henry's kind of like, well, really, if you get a lot of points in 4 or 5 of those events, you're fine in this meet. How do you break down the chances? And I'll even ask you about the men too, but first your team, the women's team. How do you feel about your chances with this team as you go to Eugene for the most important meet of the year?
Right now, I don't even look at the rankings because I feel like they're not always right. They can't predict the future. Only one person knows that. And when we get there, I'm just going to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to make sure I qualify in the 100. I'm going to qualify in the 200. I'm going to do well and run my race in this 4x1, and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do in this 4x4. And from there, that's all I can really do. But from a team's perspective, we also have to make sure that everyone is on the same page. We all want to win this national championship. Both men and women want to. So we all have the same mindset. It's just a matter of us doing it.
And then I always think men's and women's team with track, you'd be a little more tight-knit. You think men's and women's basketball, you don't travel together in that sport, and they play a different schedule. Men's and women's golf plays a different schedule. Men's and women's tennis, different schedule. Mm-hmm. You're usually not traveling together, but you guys are together wherever you go, whether it's Franklin Field for the Penn relays or Oregon for the championships or the Texas relays. I mean, do you ever stop at meets, cheer for the men, and then get on with your business? And is that part of what will happen in Eugene?
Yeah, it definitely happened like that at conference. I know because their races, the 100 and the 200 were really close to each other. I'm able to be up a little bit closer to where they're starting their blocks, and I'm making sure I'm encouraging them, telling them to push out of their blocks, accelerate, and do it, and especially have fun with it. Like, we're here to have fun, also win a championship too. And we also do that with the throws, because I know the throwers throw a little bit earlier in the day. So when I'm coming in to check in for my event, I might go see them throw a little bit, watch some jumpers jump. So we're all a team. We're always there for support.
I was just about to ask you that. How close-knit is this group, men's and women's together? You know, track is an individual sport. There are team elements to it, team event specifically, but like you said, you have to just worry about what you're doing. But this seems to be a pretty tight-knit bunch you got here.
Yeah, we're very, very close. These group of athletes that we have here, we're all like family. We're very supportive of one another. And when we travel, we always want to make sure we look our best, because we're Texas A&M. We want to represent well. And when we get to the track meets, we're always there for support once again. There's never a time where there's a person just out there doing their event without someone in the stands supporting them. We're always there for each other.
Tell me about your background as an athlete. I just heard you say you were talking about 7th grade when you started running track. Was track your sport? Did you play a little bit of everything? Or what's kind of your athletic background as you came to A&M?
It's funny. Growing up, I did everything. I'm from Maryland, so I had the figure skating, gymnastics. I did softball, swimming. I did everything. And eventually it got to the point where each day of the week I had a different sport, and I was going to practice, and my mom was like, okay, we have to narrow it down because I can't keep traveling everywhere for all your different
mileage
events.
On the car.
Exactly.
You're gonna do all this.
So I narrowed it down to golf and track by the time I was 7th grade. And from there, I found that I really had a passion for track, and this is the career path I wanted to take. Kind of hurt my golf coach a little bit, but we're still really close. When I go home to Maryland for like the breaks and stuff, I tend to go over there and hit a couple golf balls just to make sure I still have the flow. But then other than that, track has always been my primary love.
About to say, can you still swing it?
I can still swing it. Yeah.
What's your best round there? Give me your best round.
I don't remember the last time I've had a full-fledged competition was maybe 6th grade. So I can't remember.
Still better than both of us.
I need to go back and
it doesn't take a lot to beat us in anything, Matt.
18 holes.
Have you played traditions before? Have you been out there?
No, I have not.
Have you played any of the courses here?
No, I have not.
I've tried.
We got to get out sometime. You guys are busy though, so
yeah, she's a little busy.
Just focus on Eugene right now, and then you can figure that out later.
Right, exactly.